Released in 1987, Munchies is a comedy horror film starring Harvey Korman, Charlie Stratton, and Nadine Van der Velde, and directed by Tina Hirsch. The film was released during the height of the little monster knockoff phase that started with Gremlins in 1984. Produced by Roger Corman, he wanted to make a Gremlins knockoff, and since Hirsch had already edited 3 films for him and was the editor for Gremlins, it really seemed like a no-brainer. Anyway, let's take a look at Munchies and see how it holds up today. Paul is on an archaeological dig with his father, Simon, in Peru. Simon's crew discovers an ancient cavern. Inside they find a Munchie sneaking around and capture him. He sounds oddly familiar. They sneak him back into the US and are picked up at the airport by Paul's girlfriend, Cindy. After getting back home, Simon needs to leave town and leaves the Munchie with Paul and Cindy. Simon's twin brother, Cecil, played also by Harvey Korman in a bad mustache and wig, has the house bugged. Cecil is a sleazy businessman who wants to buy his brother's land, so he's spying on him to find a way to blackmail him to sell. He recruits the slacker stepson, Dude, to steal the Munchie. That's his name, I swear. It's in the credits. Also, I'll be referring to him as the stepson from here on out. I refuse to call him the Dude. Back at home, they decide the Munchie needs a name, so they name him Arnold. They give him a porno mag to occupy the time. I'm pretty sure he's playing with himself in there. If that wasn't creepy enough, they decide while Arnold is occupied with Miss July, they should go upstairs and have a little fun themselves, leaving Arnold left by himself. Cecil and his stepson break in and steal Arnold. Cecil, just like his brother, makes the same mistake and leaves him alone with his stepson. We finally see what Arnold looks like, and I gotta say, based on his voice, I was expecting something cuter. Arnold is voiced by Frank Welker, who is known for voicing Fred in the Scooby-Doo cartoons, Megatron in the Transformers, and, you guessed it, Gizmo in Gremlins. Corman was not trying to hide the blatant ripoff this was of Gremlins. While watching Arnold, the stepson starts to be mean to him. Arnold can only handle so much abuse before he gets pissed and attacks him.
Oh, you're not laughing anymore, are you, pal?
The stepson cuts him up into pieces, only for the pieces to reanimate into more Munchies. They kill him by playing his music at full volume. The Munchies steal a car and flee. Paul and Cindy chase after them, but lose them after being pulled over by the clumsy and gullible Deputy Eddie. The Munchies cruise around terrorizing the town, bullying a group of bikers, an old lady, and a couple of girls swimming. The Munchies find themselves at a miniature golf course, drinking beer, smoking pot, everything that you're told was bad in the 80s. Just all around wrecking havoc. Cecil and his wife team up with the sheriff, Big Eddie, to track down the creatures. Meanwhile, Paul and Cindy do the same with the incompetent deputy. They track him down to Cecil's underground toxic waste site. Paul discovers that electricity turns them back into statues and saves the day. Cecil and his wife are arrested for their many crimes, and Paul destroys all the statues except for one that he saves for his dad. Dr. Crowder from the museum shows up and offers him $25,000 for the statue. The doctor tosses the statue in the back of his truck and drives away, leaving it open for a sequel, which was released in 1992. This movie just reeks of 80s cheese, but in the best way possible. The Munchies themselves look good, but are just low-budget puppets, and their movement is just kind of flailing. All in all, this is a great Roger Corman, low-budget 80s PG horror comedy. The acting's pretty good considering how annoying some of these characters are, which I feel is intentional. Anyway, if you haven't seen this film, I definitely think you should check it out.